Let's talk a little bit wider about the Israeli response. What is the latest there, and what do you think is going to happen over perhaps a more medium or longer term?
Well, as we've seen in previous conflicts between Israel and Hamas, such as Operation Cast Lead in 2009 and Operation Protective Edge in 2014, Israel is going to clamp down hard on Gaza. More than 230 Gazans have been killed in the response so far. Israel has been attacking positions using artillery, airstrikes, and drones. And of course, Israel has been told, well, not necessarily told, but it knows that the United States, the European Union, and other Western countries view Israel as having the right to defend itself. So this is, in a sense, it gives it the confidence to go ahead and do this, even though they probably would do it without any validation from Western countries as well. Benjamin Netanyahu says that the army is taking out Hamas's government and that they will reach every place Hamas is hiding and that they will leave their installations in rubble. Now, like those previous conflicts I mentioned, there's bound to end up being a stark asymmetry in the death tolls, largely because there's an asymmetry in the military capabilities between Israel and Hamas. In the terrible violence we saw yesterday, at least 250, perhaps as many as 300 Israelis were killed and an unknown number taken hostage, about 1,600 injured as well. So the death toll is probably going to rise from the people that are injured. But Israel, even though it's still trying to wrest control of a number of southern towns and cities from Hamas and Islamic Jihad, it will do its best to ensure that those numbers don't rise. Gazans will probably not be so lucky. Netanyahu has actually called on Gazans to leave ahead of the Israeli assault. That's not something that can be very easily done, considering that the entire territory is under blockade. But there's definitely something which we can see that there is very much a stark contrast between the capabilities of the two forces.
And how have we gotten to where we are now? Just take us through what has been happening in this conflict over the past 12 months or so.
Well, there's been a hardening of attitudes on both sides in the Israeli-Palestinian divide. The Palestinians say that they are living under de facto apartheid, particularly in the occupied West Bank, and Gaza has been under blockade now for 16 years, the Hamas-ruled territory. The Israelis, for their part, say that they are very wary of attacks by Palestinian militant groups, and the peace movement in Israel at the moment is at a fairly low ebb. You won't hear too many voices calling for restraint in the next couple of days because of the enormity of what happened yesterday. The United Nations says that as of the 19th of September, 227 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli troops or settlers this year, and they're mostly in the West Bank. And also about 29 Israelis have also been killed by Palestinians. They've largely been in gun or knife attacks. There have been a number of major flashpoints over this year. There was a synagogue attack in January where 5 Israelis were killed by a gunman in the Al-Aqsa mosque in April during Ramadan. A number of Palestinian worshippers barricaded themselves inside, and they were dispersed with tear gas and rubber bullets, and it caused quite an outcry at the time. There were also airstrikes on Gaza in May targeting Islamic Jihad. So there have been an awful lot of these moments during the year. In fact, the Palestinians have blamed settlers in the West Bank largely for a lot of these. Even in one particular instance in May, the Israeli military actually did use the word pogrom to describe what a number of Jewish settlers had done to a Palestinian village. And of course, there's two unpopular leaders at the backdrop of all this. There's Benjamin Netanyahu, who faces has been facing mass protests for the last 8-9 months. He's also got a lot of legal problems facing him too. And there's also Mahmoud Abbas, who is 18 years in office now, and Palestinians have long been promised elections to potentially re-elect him, potentially get rid of him, but he's been propped up rather undemocratically by both the Israelis and the West, more or less, as in he's somebody that they can do business with, but he's definitely not popular among his own people. So there aren't really any figureheads there that might actually be able to probably have the charisma and the character to bring a peaceful solution forward. So that's probably something that's going to be a long way down the line.
Oliver, thank you so much for that analysis. That's our International Affairs editor, Oliver Farry.